So Pat, you've been in or around the business for a very long while now. You've been called a wrestling historian. I know that you were on a previous season of Dark Side of the Ring. You're also an award-winning author, and you've been part of the WWE French broadcasting team. So with WrestleMania coming up on April 2nd and 3rd, what has this event meant to someone like you?
Oh, I mean, it's the Super Bowl. It's a wrestling version of the Super Bowl, right? I mean, there's nothing bigger than WrestleMania. It's going to be, especially this year, since it's Dallas. The last time I was in Dallas for WrestleMania, there was whatever number you want to believe, but close to 100,000 people. And it was just amazing. But for someone like me from Montreal, and having seen and having covered Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's careers for 20 years, it's even more special, because the last time in 2016 it was both of them. It was their first WrestleMania,
right, their debut,
ladder match. The ladder match for the Intercontinental title, and now both of them are put in a very good position, actually. Yeah, last year was special, right? Because it was Kevin against Sami, so it was really special for us here. But now, this year, I mean, they're not lost in some battle royal. They're not in some meaningless match. They are actually both having something pretty cool. Sami will work with Johnny Knoxville, which is, I mean, it's entertainment, and WrestleMania is both sports and entertainment. It's always been like that, so I have no problem with this, especially since Sami himself really likes to do that kind of storyline, and it's something that they've been building since before the Royal Rumble. So at least there's a story attached to it, and then of course Kevin working with Stone Cold Steve Austin, whatever they end up doing, which won't be just an interview, kid in the gut, and the stunner. It will be some kind of a match, probably a brawl. I don't expect Austin to take a big suplex from the top rope, but
right.
We'll get more than just what people might have been expecting. When KO announced the KO show featuring Stone Cold, so it's really I mean, this is big, when you think about it. It might be, there's almost 100% sure that it will be Stone Cold's last real match. So I mean, for someone like Kevin, it's he's going to be attached to Stone Cold's history forever,
right?
And it's we all know that Austin will win the match, but who cares? We want to see how it will happen. We want to see Austin wrestle. We want to see him interact with Kevin. So yeah, so for someone like me in Montreal, having covered their career for ages, I mean, it's really going to be special, and I'm going to be there live this time as well.
Oh, nice! So, yeah, have a good time.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that should be great. Just to backtrack a little bit, you started talking about your association with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who you know, of course, as Kevin Steen, and of course their positioning on the cards. But just to, because a lot of our listeners might not be aware of your long association with these guys, just to, can you give me an idea of your own history of friendship with these two? How did you first meet?
Yeah, I first met Sami. I was working in the same promotion that he was when he did his second match. So second match ever. He was working as Stevie McFly, and he wore bowling shoes. And he was pretty athletic and pretty acrobatic as well. But because of the bowling shoes, and back in 2002, where there were like a few old school guys still in the territory, I mean, it wasn't like wrestling boots, So he was getting a lot of criticism because of that. But you could see that the guy was like that he had a natural talent for it. But we never expected, our at that time, our how far it would go. And then that same summer, he started doing the El Generico gimmick. So I was there live when there was, when he first wore the mask and the robe and all that, and the OA and all that. I was in the crowd for an IWS show that night, so I was there as well. Then Kevin came along, because Kevin was working for Jacques Rougeau, and he ended up leaving Rougeau, or getting kicked out of Rougeau, I should say, by the fall of 2003. And we connected for the first time, I believe, somewhere in 2004, as he was about to wrestle against Christopher Daniels, who was like one of the first big indie guy coming to the province of Quebec. And they both started working for Ring of Honor at the same time in February of 2005, if I'm not mistaken. And I traveled with them many times, going to Ring of Honor shows, and even when they came back in 2007, on the first night back in Philly against the Briscoes, I was with them, so we traveled a lot together, up until Sammy was signed with WWE, actually. I still remember that it was in December, and we were going to New York, because it was the big ladder war between Kevin and Generico, and Sammy was in the car telling us about, having signed with WWE and how crazy it was and all that, because for the longest time we never thought that, these two would get signed, because they didn't have the look, they didn't have the shape that WWE was looking at the time, or for the longest time. And but lo and behold, Sammy was signed, and at the end of 2013, and at the end of 2012, and a year and a half later, Kevin was signed as well. So, it's just special to witness someone almost whole career in front of your eyes, and to follow them around, and to cover, what the success they were having, especially with Ring of Honor and PWG and all that. So, and we stayed friends ever since.
Now, being a French broadcaster for the WWE, were you ever able to call any of their matches in the company?
Oh yeah, many times, and also we do translation for promos, as we get promos as well. So we always translate them in French, and I got to play Kevin, and then both Kevin and Sammy at one point or another. So it's always it's kind of weird, to do that, but it's also, I don't know, there's like so much promise on my part, to be able to call their match and to translate their promos, and to and I know I'll be so proud when I'll see them in Dallas. I would have given anything last year to be in Tampa for their match. I've seen this match so many times, but I've seen it in front of 20 people. But also saw it, main eventing the Bell Center in Montreal. So it would have, meant the world. But with everything that was going on last year, going to the U.S. even in April was like a no for us in Canada. So this year, I'll be there to see them perform in the biggest stage of them all, right? And I guess, what do you feel is the major difference being there live rather than watching it at home? Like, how would you describe the experience? I remember when they were like those 7.5 hour WrestleManias. I always thought that live it would go much faster than watching it on TV, because there's always something to do live, Right. Even during the break, not the breaks, but the commercial breaks, but there was some kind of breaks, whether it was a video package or something. You're going to take that time to go to the bathrooms or to get a beer or something to eat or to talk with someone there. So things go much faster than it is on TV when, if you already watched it, if you already watched the video package, there's not much to do, I mean, so it's, I don't know, the vibe is different. The atmosphere, the energy is so different. Yeah, but this is going to be my first time going to a two-part WrestleMania live. I'm really looking forward to that because technically we should get maybe 2 times 3.5 hours. So if it's that, well, it should go even faster than the last time I was there. I was there in 2019 in New Jersey when it started on a Sunday and it ended on a Monday. I mean, this time it will be much different, probably a better experience soon.
So now, just focusing on their matches, their individual matches, just starting with Sami Zayn. Firstly, you mentioned he's going to be in the ring with Johnny Knoxville. Were you ever a fan of the show, Jackass?
Never. Never. I was actually kind of surprised because I've never been a fan, so I don't follow their news, right? So I was kind of surprised that Johnny Knoxville was still a big name, and I was told that he was. So I was like, okay, if he is, he is. That's no problem with me. I was never a fan. I don't know. There's something about hurting yourself just for a laugh that I don't think it's that funny. I don't know. And maybe I was never, that kind of a person to try, daredevil stuff. I'm more of a conservative person, in that regard. I never did what's it called, parachute or anything like that.
The stunts.
I don't know. I mean, my plans in life is to live as long as I can, and I never thought that this was a good idea to go on my plans. So never did any of those things.
Right.
But I mean, there's definitely a public for it, and I've seen bits of shows here and there, like who didn't. But I was never a fan or never really followed their shows or movies or anything.
Yeah, and then of course with Kevin Owens, you mentioned earlier, he's going to be in the ring, of course, for a KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. You do think it's going to be an actual match?
Yes. Oh yeah, and it was confirmed today by Dave Meltzer.
Oh, was okay.
Yeah. He said that Stone Cold was in top shape.
Ring
that
shape.
He's
Yeah.
been training and everything, and he wouldn't do all that just to come in the ring and kick Stunner and Beers.
Right.
I mean, he's probably gonna do. He won't do a 20-minute match, but do I see something between 5 and 10 minutes, kind of a brawl, where, punches and kicks and stuff like that. Well, we get some heat, get some heat from Kevin as well. He can sell without hurting himself and without, taking big moves, on the neck or on the upper back. So, I mean, something like this will happen, and with the crowd that will be so behind him, it will be awesome. And I really like the way that they've been building Kevin to it, in the sense that it started with Dallas, but now he's doing promos more anti-Americans, pro-Canadian.
Yeah, I like that too.
He needs, because he needs to be hated, all the way through WrestleMania, and not just by the people of Texas. And
Exactly.
not only that, but I'm not American, but the way I understood things, I mean, he's not the only one not liking Texas.
Right.
So you want to make sure that that he doesn't get a babyface pop just because they did things the wrong way. So putting him as an anti-American, That was the right thing to do, coming up to WrestleMania, and yeah, so he's going to be the big heel, and Austin will be like the most the most baby face. He's going to get the biggest pop of both of Mania.
Course.
It will be just awesome to witness that live. So yeah,
absolutely. And I heard that's actually closing out night one. So that's going to be huge, and
well, if it is, it's going to be even better. It's going to be something that that people, everybody who's going to night one will. I'm expecting like a lot of Austin chants and what throughout the show up until Austin comes out. So yeah, it's going to be a night to remember. This
for sure. So as huge an accomplishment as this is, and either way it goes, whether he wins or loses, for Kevin that is, where do you see him going next? Like what's the next logical step in his career, do you think?
Well, he's there for a long-term contract. Both him and Sammy. Usually there's a draft soon after Mania, or in the weeks that follow. So we'll see if they do something there, or if they'll wait till the season premiere to do it. But at the end of the day, I do think that they have a tag team run to do before any of them ever leave the company or retire. So I would love to see them as a real tag team, even though the tag team division is not always the one that they put more thoughts on it, but
yeah.
Still, and I say that, and I did love the interaction between Kevin and Seth Rollins.
Right.
They're friends for a long time, and it showed. They really have a good chemistry together. But anytime that Kevin and Sammy are together, whether it's a tag team or against another, it's like there's magic being created there. So I would really love to see that. Hoping that Kevin, they give him the WWE. I know it wouldn't mean a lot for Kevin. I mean, he's been, Universal Champion, but I know it wouldn't mean a lot for Kevin to be WWE Champion because the lineage is not the same, and it goes back to all the superstars that Kevin was looking, on TV when he was younger, the Bretts and the Shawn Michaels and all of these guys. So if you can have that, that would be awesome as well. But Kevin always finds a way to get well positioned, either on a Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-views. He missed one Mania, but
right.
Aside from that, I mean, usually he's always in the mix. He's always near the top, always in a big storyline. I mean, he did work with Shane McMahon for a long time, and I mean, he did main event pay-per-view with Shane, and stuff like that. So I'm not too worried about Kevin. As far as Sammy goes, well, I think he really found his rhythm there, and I think that WWE, especially Vince McMahon, likes to see what he has to offer. He's ever since he did those Sammy awards, I mean, he's been on a roll. It's like his level of entertainment is off the roof. He's able to talk. He's able to act. He gets a reaction whatever he does. I mean, yeah, it's. I really think he found his role in WWE, and I know some fans sometimes are, upset that they're not using Sammy to wrestle a 5-star match every single week.
Right.
But Sammy himself love to do that kind of thing, and he can back it up in the ring when he needs to. I mean, he did work with Ricochet recently, and it was a very good match until the end. But I mean, he can back it up when they need him to do this. But he can also be entertaining. He can talk. He can have a talking segment, a talk show. So to be versatile in WWE is always a good thing, because you don't need to wrestle every week to be over, to get over, to advance a storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So it has its utility, and there's like, it's not everybody who can actually do that. So
absolutely,
to see both Kevin and Randy be able to do that, that's just awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned before, it's more of an entertainment business. It's not just the sport anymore. So, and I think Sammy and Cam, both of them are well versed in terms of both sports and entertainment. They can have a great match, but they can also be entertaining, and I think there's more longevity on the entertainment side.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always been like that. Hulk Hogan was on top, not
mm-hmm.
because of his match quality, and
right.
and The Rock was about the same thing. And we're talking about WrestleMania. Well, the entertaining part on a WrestleMania has always been there since day one. With Liberace and with Muhammad Ali and
mm-hmm.
and Biggie Martin and all those guys. And this is just WrestleMania 1, but there's been like celebrities every
year.
Every year, and this year is no different. You have Johnny Knoxville, you have Logan Paul. So last year Bad Bunny impressed everyone. So I mean, at the end of the day, this is what WrestleMania is for, and hopefully that these two can shine through those two shows.
Absolutely. So I just want to switch gears here. I mentioned earlier that you did author quite a few, or a couple of several award-winning books, including one on the history of women's wrestling called The Sisterhood of the Squared Circle. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on some of the women's matches on the WrestleMania card this year.
Well, it's funny you talk about that, because in Sisterhood, me and Dan Murphy, who used to write for PWI,
mm-hmm.
We were kind of wondering what was next in WWE. And bear in mind, this was written in, I want to say 2017. Yeah, 2017. So,
mm-hmm.
And we wanted to, it's 2016 or 2017. Anyways, so we wanted to write about what was next. What was the future of women's wrestling? And we wrote about Ronda Rousey, saying
mm-hmm.
that probably the best, the next one wasn't even a wrestler yet. And it happened like a year and a half later when Ronda joined WWE. And we even wrote that the very first time that a women's match would main event WrestleMania, it would actually be Ronda Rousey. We did the prediction it would be Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be that in 2019. Becky Lynch stepped into the mix. So this year we're getting that match. We're getting the match that we thought would main event the first women's match to main event WrestleMania. So to see Ronda and Charlotte work together, I mean, I know that Ronda hasn't been, I don't know, her promos are kind of, I want to say awkward. There's something missing in her promos
mm-hmm.
that I don't like. I don't know. There's something missing. Her delivery. I mean, if you look at MMA fighters, I mean, Paige Van Zandt has a much better delivery on AEW than Ronda has
Absolutely.
in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I have no doubt that at WrestleMania she's going to deliver it in the ring. Because
of
that
course,
match,
yeah.
I mean, they will practice it over and over, and I, for one, don't care about that. I mean, I want to see the end result. I don't care if you practice your match 100 times to make sure that on D-Day that the match is like exactly what you wanted. I mean, when we watch a movie, when we go to see a play or any TV show, I mean, they're doing takes and takes and takes before what you see on TV is the right one, you know. And if you go see a play, they'll practice the play like so many times before, you know, they do it in front of public. So to me, I know wrestling doesn't have that kind of history, but I really don't mind as long as it delivers in the ring when it's time to do it. I'm sure that both of these women will do. For the other match, I really like the fact that we're building Becky Lynch against Bianca Belair with, you know, the very first, the only two to actually win a women's main event WrestleMania. So I like that they played on that. It's going to be the revenge of Bianca Belair after SummerSlam, so I'm expecting a lot in there as well. You know, Bianca Belair. If there's, I really thought that after winning Mania, she would be over a lot more than she actually was. Because you know, last year when she won and Rhea Ripley won,
right,
and Raquel Gonzalez won on NXT, I was like, okay, this is. We're getting out of the four horsewomen, you know. It's the new breed of women's wrestling in WWE, and it didn't really end up like that a year later. You know, Rhea is kind of lost in the tag team division. Raquel Gonzalez is kind of lost on NXT, and we have Bianca Belair now. So I'm really hoping that they'll take this opportunity to really put her over strong and to keep her strong, you know, after that. So we'll wait and see, but I'm expecting a lot from those two matches. I was actually surprised that both of them were on night one, because if you have Austin and Owens, the two women's matches, I mean, that's a lot of good matches there, and a lot of matches that people are looking forward to see, you know. Of course,
exactly.
Night two will be main evented by Roman and Brock, which will be something to see. But it's a different kind of match. It's a different kind of storyline. But I'm sure they'll find a way to be. I mean, I'm sure I won't be disappointed by that main event either. You know, even though we probably all know who's going over. I don't care, you know. I mean, you can watch a movie and you can know where they're going with the movie and still appreciate the story and the way the actors plays it and all that stuff, or the visual effects. So it's the same for me in wrestling, you know. So yeah, I'm really expecting something good for me this year.